Hey guys, this video is going to be on prompts. Now, one thing I would like to express very highly is that Nano for me is supposed to be fun. I think a lot of the times that I have failed, I haven't enjoyed it because I haven't taken the experience and had fun. So that's why I guess prompts is something that is very, very, very important to me. Even just in my general writing practice, I don't just write in November, I write all year round. And this year I've had to really take that passion seriously, and by taking it seriously I don't mean like forcing it. I mean, I love writing, so I've had to decide whether I really would like that to be an important fundamental part of my daily living or just something I do randomly. And I think for me, writing is a passion, so I use prompts usually on times that I don't feel very active or I've had a rough day and I can't really think of anything to write about, but I really would like to write. But sometimes I use it just because I can, because it's fun and I love doing it and I love finding new ways to do things and taking people's challenges and using them to create something for myself or my way of thinking. So I have sort of spent a long time coming up with these ideas to share with you guys, so I hope they come across clearly and that you can find at least one thing that's helpful for you guys. Okay, so like my notice board or my clipboard, I show you guys this during my videos and I hope you guys can see, but if not, I'm just going to go through them anyway. Okay, so basically what I did was I mind mapped and brainstormed, which is something we can go into with outlining as well. But if you're looking for ideas of how to do prompts or anything really, a great idea is to mind map it. Which basically, when you mind map, you just have a topic and then you branch out. So we're going to look at online prompts, handmade prompts, and books and magazines. So when I go through online, I won't be showing you exactly, but I will have a list of different kinds of prompts and links that you can go to, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So firstly, we're going to talk about submitted generators and prompt communities online. I'm going to put this down. Okay, so there are a number of prompt websites out there. There's probably thousands. Some of the things that I like to look at when I'm searching for a prompt website online is, am I a visual person, am I a list person, or do I like reading articles about prompts, do I like having someone give me those prompts, or do I like to learn how to create my own so that I have an endless list of prompt ideas. So those are things that you can consider when you're doing it. I know that this can be a lot to kind of take in, especially when you're starting out writing or when you're doing Nano and you're thinking, do I really want to add this to the stress? Trust me guys, it is really just quite simple. Okay, so an example of one of these sites that I have found recently is Writing Prompts Tumblr, which is where it's posted with images, ideas, things like that, and I find it really helpful to look at pictures and ideas and have prompts be very colourful and very visual, because I'm a visual kind of person. I love that kind of stuff. That's what works for me, but it might not work for other people. Whereas another suggestion is creativewritingprompts.com, which is just a random number, like it has a number I think from 1 to 100, and you click on the number and it gives you a small prompt. Other times you might want to look at how to break down prompts or how prompts are kind of made, then you can go to dailywritingtips.com. Those are the kinds of things that you can look at online, or you can go to generators. There is a lot of generators online. Some you can go to look for generating plots, some will generate words, some will generate characters, objects. You get the idea. The internet is infinite for this kind of stuff. It is amazing. You're not alone when you sit at that computer. even just the smallest part, like the smallest prompt, can get you started on anything. I guarantee you, try this method, try it, it is brilliant. Now, speaking of, I guess, submitted. Submitted to me is when you go in the forums and you join a community, say like the Nanowrimo forums, or you can join LiveJournal. And for me, basically, that entitles when you get in a group and you start writing. As often you can find these kind of linked groups, and you will talk about, you know, you'll start word warring and things like that, and then you can like kind of say, okay, everybody in the group, I want you to write about peanuts, and for the next 15 minutes you have to write, in somewhere in your story you write peanuts. So that's a kind of submitted prompt. And and prompt communities, like I said, the Nanowrimo communities, or LiveJournal communities, or the DeviantArt communities, where a group of people are doing the same thing, which in this case is Nano, and you guys can talk about things and prompt each other. And usually some people actually have, I guess, topics, and they have a list of prompts that you guys can use if you are having trouble. So that is online prompts. So I'll leave a list, and hopefully that will help you out. The second is handmade. Handmade is something that I really like doing because I'm a creative person. So this method is very new to me in my writing. I didn't use it last year in my Nano, but I'm using it very frequently with my writing at the moment. So I'm going to show you 3 different types of ways that you can use prompts in a visual way. The first, and something that I really like doing, and I've actually just created something up there to help me with Nano, is to have magazine images. So I recently got Frankie magazine because it's kind of like fashion, crafty kind of magazine. It's got really nice paper, and it's like really thick paper with the magazine, and I love the pictures in them. So these are just some of the interesting pictures that I found in the magazine. And then that. So you could take this picture, for example, of this house and of this tree or anything, and write a story about it. You could write a poem about it, you could write a journal entry about it, you could write a letter about it. You can combine this with this and tell the story of this family, tell the story of one person in this family. You can get what I'm saying. It's endless possibilities, especially when it comes to pictures. And I like having something up there that I can look at, because I can look at different details, and for me that works. So magazine pictures are a very, very prominent part of my creative process. The next is magazine or newspaper clippings. So I've just made an example for you guys very quickly, because, yeah. So these are things that I've pulled out of magazines or collected out of newspapers or of advertisements. So here I've got some wedding pictures, here Party Like It's 1975, 79, and then some just random sort of topics from newspapers like cyberbullies, outed after girl's death, the spy who loved him. I kind of made up a little one here. She's hot, she's stylish, and she's on your brain, zombie juice, which I just thought was hilarious. When I wrote it, was hilarious. Shoe lovers died and went to heaven, caveman on the prowl, and kite flyer causes fire. So those are just some really basic ideas that you can just grab out of newspaper and say, okay, ooh, caveman on the prowl. And it gets your mind just like growing and festering, and not festering, but you know what I mean. It gets it going and flowing, and you kind of actually start to get that sort of juices flowing. I think that's what I meant to say. So these are some really great ideas, and if you've got a newspaper or magazine, just go through it, cut out whatever catches your eye. Just make sure you do the first thought, which is whatever catches your eye first, cut it out, glue it on a piece of paper, keep it in a binder folder if you want. This paper is really good for this kind of stuff, so definitely try that out. That's a really useful prompt for me as well, because I can look at that and go, oh, that's something I could write about today. I could write about it for the next week. That could be my character. That could be, the caveman could be my character's dad. the caveman could be the guy who's sleeping underneath his bed. You know what I mean? These things are brilliant. Brilliant ideas, simple things, and really fun to make as well. Fun to make while you're doing the writing. I do suggest you do write at the same time, but these are things you can do before Nano as well, and while during Nano. I probably suggest before, but... And then there's photos. Now I'm going to show you a few photos that I have collected in the past, and these are my personal photos, which I don't mind showing you guys, but I'm just going to show you like what you can do to give you ideas. So, for instance, these are some vintage photos of my family. Looking at them, I could tell a story of my own family, or I could look at them and create a character. I could look at the beach, or I could look at the lake and think about that and write a story about that. I could write anything about it. So photos are great. Then I like to take random pictures of things that just spark my energy. So like these crates, for instance, that I took a picture of for some reason. You could tell a story about that, or you could tell a story about the crates themselves, or you could talk about a person in a shop and why they're buying it, and you know, maybe that they need all these crates because that's where they dump their bodies. Maybe they use them as mulch, and they put dirt over them, and they plant trees. That could be a possibility. Or, you know, pictures of buildings. I love pictures of buildings. You could tell the story of the buildings. Like this, for instance. Who are living in these floors? Brilliant. I tell you, visual stimulation is brilliant. Or you could talk about colours and look at different colours, and just these kind of things are great for just sparking the creativity, because you're not really thinking about the story as a whole. When you're doing prompts, you're thinking about the small thing and setting small goals, and that's something we'll talk about later, but these things are excellent for that kind of thing. Prompts are wonderful to like kickstart the thought process and the juices flowing, and I'm telling you guys, writing block comes in during Nano. It is a fact. I don't think I've heard anyone not go at least through 1 day or 1 hour where they haven't been blocked. And these prompts, these are what prompts are here for. These are great tools during the Nano when you are blocked. I can tell you that much. Lastly, the last topic is books, which we will go through, which I'll go through. So writing exercises in books, toolkits, and I guess what I like to call prompt sheets. So I don't get this magazine regularly, but I do sometimes, and you can get, I'm pretty sure in America and the UK and stuff, there's more magazines out there, but these are the ones that I have, and it's called Writers Forum, and every issue you get a little page, I guess, it's called Inspiration, and it talks about inspiration, it talks about different things and articles, and at the bottom it has an idea. And these are prompts as well. So for instance it says write about packing a suitcase, write about masks. So you can get some really cool, just brief ideas from these magazines. And also sometimes they have different methods of sharing these prompts as well. Sometimes they have articles, like I guess, and then they have these sections where you write down your ideas for 6 days. So that's another prompt. Or like in this one, which I haven't used yet, which is a really fun idea, is it's a fiction square. So it has character, traits, conflict, location, and object, and it has a dice. So you roll a dice and circle the ingredients for your next story. And I'm pretty sure you can find these things online as well. I haven't looked for these kind of things, but it's one of those awesome things you can find as well. So you know, you roll 1 and you get a solicitor. You roll a 2, it's a nerdy solicitor who's murdered, and the location is a funeral home, and the object is he was murdered with false teeth. And you can write a story about that, or you could put, you could put that in your novel, or anything. So these magazines are fantastic, guys. So fantastic, I tell you. Wonderful, wonderful. Next, my favorite thing is books. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about the books because I really don't want to make this a very long video, and it already is. So, you know, these are some of the books that I have that focus on writing and writing exercises. I have What If, the 3 PM Epiphany, Writer's Idea Book, Gotham Writer's Workshop, and The Right to Write. I've already talked about The Right to Write before. Now, for example, this one I'm reading at the moment. And this one is more based around fiction writing, so it's probably a really good thing for Nano. So the first exercise, which I'm still yet to do today, is very simple. So they'll go through, they'll talk a little bit about things, and they'll show you some examples. And then they will talk about the prompts, or the exercise. So today's one was to write 5 of my own opening lines for different stories. And then you know read about different storylines, stuff like that. And then they suggest that you do this every day for the rest of your life. So you get up and you make you write a storyline, like the first line of a story, and it can be about anything. So for me today, when I did my first line, I wrote, his hands were blue, his clothes were blue, his hair was blue, and even his eyes were blue, but he had always seen the world in black and white. That probably wasn't a sentence, but you get the idea. And I think that is a fantastic example already there. You can spend the next 30 days just getting, the first 10 minutes of your day, free your mind and say, okay, I'm just going to write this first sentence. I don't care what happens, I don't care what makes sense, it's words. Those few sentences, whether you use them or not at the end of the novel, are words. So this is great things to do. Because you got to think too, November, 50,000 words, it's not about quality, it's about quantity, though you can think about quality. It's about having fun and getting those words out, and I think prompts are excellent ideas. So those are just some idea books like these. This one focuses on different topics. It will talk about God and ask you to write about God and different things like that, and character perspectives. This is an awesome book too. It will say prompt. Begin a piece of writing in the evening. If you need an idea, flip to the prompts in the next section, and then there'll be prompts there. So you get the general idea that you can get prompts from these books as well. There are some cheaper books. I'm sure a lot of these you could get off Amazon very, very cheap, especially used. I can't because I'm over in Australia and it costs a fortune to get things off Amazon. But guys, check out Amazon for these writing prompt books, and you can get a lot of ebooks as well. So that's that. I'm going to show you these briefly. I think I have before, but these are toolkits. If you would like me to go into into more detail rather, as in kind of like a review, I guess, of these toolkits, so you guys can check them out to see if you want to purchase them or invest in them anyway, I will. This is just a brief example of the things that come in this pack. And then I have my writing retreat kit, which I've had for a long time, which is one of my first writing books actually, and it cost me $40, and I was like, oh my god, it cost me $40, that's a lot of money, but nowadays it's nothing. And then lastly, these prompt sheets that have come with this, but you can get these offline, print them offline. So these ones are part of my writing retreat. So these are prompt sheets, so they'll tell you, sit down, light a candle, and for the next 10 minutes, write about your aunt's toenails, okay? And so you could, instead of writing about your aunt's toenails, you could write for the next 10 minutes about your character's aunt's toenails and what she sees underneath the covers of the blankets, and how her toenails are actually dog's toenails, and that she's actually a monster. So anything goes. It's Nano, guys. It's Nano. So I hope that you took something from this video, and I hope that it wasn't too long. I'm trying very desperately to keep these videos short, but when you're talking about these kind of things and expressing them, I like to go into detail. I'm an organised person, I can't help it. So if any of these things stood out to you, please let me know. Anything you want to add, any comments, let me know. I hope this video was helpful, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be about reading and rewards. Okay guys, bye!